Question 4, Nye County District Attorney. How will you improve communications between the District Attorney's Office and the Nye County Sheriff's Office and work together to get and keep Pahrump safe?
The problem that I've seen in living here for 12 years is that the questions between the DA's office and the Sheriff's Office have just magically appeared over the last 6 months. They've actually been here the entire 12 years I've been here. And I think, quite frankly, I think the biggest thing I can do is basically step up to the plate, take responsibility, don't make excuses, sit down with the Sheriff's Office, and just do what we need to do communication-wise and working together to make the prosecutions work. The big problem that we have right now in talking, and I've already talked to a lot of the deputies and a lot of the management staff, and one of the biggest problems we have right now is the fact that there's zero communication between the Sheriff's Office and the District Attorney's Office during the investigative phase, because the DA's office is kind of taking the attitude that they don't want to get involved in the investigative phase. And I think that that's somewhat of a crazy idea. I want to be able to work with the Sheriff's Office during the investigative phase so they know what evidence we need in order to get a prosecution. It's easy to sit there and talk about, we arrest people based on probable cause. Well, the problem is we can't convict somebody unless we have proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And if we don't have proof beyond a reasonable doubt, then we're not going to have a successful prosecution. So it doesn't make any difference having officers come in, and yes, officers are witnesses in all the cases, but we have to foster a working relationship during the investigative phase where the Sheriff's Office knows that they can trust coming to the District Attorney's Office. We can sit down on cases and we can together manage how we put the cases together. Again, having 16 years of prosecution experience, I think what I can bring to the table is credibility with the Sheriff's Office. I have that experience. I've got the jury trial experience. So when I sit there and tell them that this is what we need on a case, they're going to be able to believe that. And again, it's just a mutual trust that we're in this together. We just can't keep pointing fingers at each other and sit there and say that, from my standpoint, hey, I can't prosecute cases because the Sheriff's Office isn't giving us good investigations. And then the Sheriff's Office complains that the prosecutors aren't, doing what they need to do. Again, 12 years, I just quite frankly am tired of hearing that, and I just want to take responsibility for my end of it, to work with the Sheriff's Office, get together, because right now this is something that we do when I prosecute with the Attorney General's Office. I have 19 investigators that work directly for me. We are intimately involved in the investigation. I know from day one what's happening with the cases, in these big cases, and they come and ask questions about how we process the case. And again, that just makes it easier, and that's how you get effective prosecutions, by working together.
Thank you, Mr. Rainey. That has been one of the issues, one of the planks of my platform is working to repair and to rebuild the relationship between the District Attorney's Office and the Sheriff's Department. Anybody that's been following current events during the last approaching 6 months knows very well that the relationship is at an all-time low. These two offices are in the trenches 24 hours a day, every day of the year, fighting a good fight to maintain law and order in our communities. It's absolutely imperative that they enjoy mutual confidence and respect in one another in order that these offices can perform their very important work for the benefit of the citizens in Nye County. What I intend to do as your next district attorney, and I'm going to start right at the top, is go and sit down with the sheriff and invite input with regard to concerns that the sheriff has with the way that the cases are being forwarded to the DA's office and processed by the office. We work very closely together in criminal prosecutions. Every case requires that the investigating officers, the detectives involved, participate in the prosecution process. So we have to schedule things together. It takes resources from the Sheriff's Department and their allocation of time, right down to the individual officers. We have officers that work an 8-hour shift. They come into court, they're sitting in the hallway waiting for their cases to be called, And there'll be instances where after waiting for a substantial amount of time, on their private time, after working a shift, the case for some reason is continued. These things have got to be analyzed, have got to be researched. We need to figure out ways to avoid waste of our very, very limited resources. These kinds of things also affect your witnesses and your jurors and your staff in the DA's office, as well as your staff with the court services, people coming down, taking off from work, having to get babysitters. So that's one of the things that I would do, is talk with the sheriff. Similarly, with the sheriff's permission, I would like to also get input from their executive staff and find out what it is that they believe are concerns they need to address. And I'd also like to talk with the troops. They're the most important people in the entire process, because they're the ones that are coming in on a case-by-case basis and helping the district attorney's office successfully prosecute crimes in our county. That would be my first and foremost approach to that problem.
For News 46, I'm Roving Rodney.